From coast to coast, I'm your host, Palma N'Sheluvzit, and welcome to Oriac Live. Well, as you guys can see right here, Forza Femme, and it says a lot about today's guests. Let me welcome, drumroll please, tonight we have Maria Gallo, President and CEO of Framar. So honored. Thank you for joining us. We have Wendy Belanger. Hold on, that one deserves a glass of wine when I say
There you go. Cheers, Wendy.
The owner and founder of Influence Salon. And joining us on the phone is Andrea Sampson, the president, creator, owner, and founder of Efe Magazine. Ladies,
Hi guys.
Let me take a deep breath. Woo! That's a lot of female strength.
Yeah, it's all good.
Right?
Absolutely.
I just mentioned 3 women who are dedicated, driven, and passionate in this beauty industry. I'm getting shivers saying it because I'm a little girl right now jumping up and down in my dad's barber shop, getting to interview 3 women that I admire and look up to. And thank you so much to Oriac Live for having this platform for us to talk. And let's get real. We didn't bring the glass of wine for no reason, ladies. Right, Andrea? You're joining us on the phone, but girl, I know you have that glass of wine right next to you.
Sipping away.
I'm sure you have some juicy stories you'd like to share with us about your experience in the industry. You want to tell us a little bit about Efe Magazine? And I'd love to know the meaning behind the name.
Of course. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be here with such powerful women. Like, I love that we are celebrating women and all that we do. So thank you very much for having me. And thank you, ladies, for standing or sitting side by side with me with your wine. So Efe Magazine, my goodness. It's been, first of all, it's almost 5 years. March will be 5 years of Efe Magazine. It feels like I just started yesterday, and then it feels like forever all at the same time. So Maria, I'm sure you can, relate to that because Framar's been forever, and then it probably seems like there's so much that's just starting. And so that's Efe, and we've literally, Efe, for those of you who don't know, we are the industry's first multicultural trade publication, and that's globally. We are one of the first magazines to cater to everyone, whether it's race, religion, gender. Everyone is welcome. So I'm very proud to say that we are truly inclusive. And Efe means beauty, and the reason we picked Efe is because it was a little bit mysterious, and it makes people think, like, what is it really? And it's a conversation starter, but it means beauty in trees. Like there's a little, in Ghana, a friend of mine, when I asked him, like, how do you say beauty in your native tongue? And he said Efe. And I knew that was the name. And I definitely was like, I had to do it. So when you open the book, Efe Magazine, on the very first page, we have a heart with beauty written in every language that is known to us, so that the moment you open Efe, you can relate to our heart. You can connect with something. And if you message us and say, my native tongue is not there, we will reconfigure the heart and add it to the next issue.
So cool. Well, I'm going to make sure. No, I know. I'm just kidding. I know it says Bella for sure.
Yeah, 100% it's in there.
The Italians would be stomping in, especially when you do those award ceremonies, right?
Yes, 100%.
What a great success that has been. And you're putting on quite a show, and I love it. So thank you from the girl over at the barbershop who gets to come and watch these amazing shows you put on. You and I actually got to meet each other a few years back, Andrea. We judged a competition together, and your business was just starting. And it was such a pleasure to get to meet you that day. And thank you for joining us again today for this.
Oh, my goodness. My pleasure.
Yeah, I love to know. I think people need to know back-end stories to figure out, hey, how did she get there? Right? That's how people come to me all the time and say, Palma, like you always say you're just the girl from the corner at Dufferin and Glencairn, or daddy's, barber shop and whatnot, but you put yourself on all these different platforms, and how do you do that? And I get opportunities to share that, but today I want to hear the opportunities that you guys have had to share that with our viewers. Wendy, can you tell us a little bit about you too?
Oh gosh, that's an open-ended question.
Well, the Belanger, I mean, I got that down, honey.
The fact that you even said it right is like, I've been Belanger, all of it. But I've had I've been very fortunate with my career. I've been doing hair for 30 years. I've had my company. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary. I had the pleasure of being the International Artistic Director of Pureology for 15 years. I'm now an international artist for Redken. I've, like I said, had my salon for 20 years, but I'm just actually about to give birth, not literally, but to another salon concept that I've had as a dream, a literal dream in my mind, guys, for probably well over, I don't even know, forever. And it's finally happening. My salon is actually in someone else's salon because my salon is empty. We're doing a full gut and refresh, plus a buildup of this new concept. So I am excited and tired.
I can only imagine. And I could feel like the excitement just from your words,
Yeah.
All these positions you've had to now lead you to this opportunity that you dreamt about.
It's been a dream, and it's been something that I've learned a lot of lessons about. Trust the process, a lot of lessons of patience, all of it. But yeah, I'm finally going to see the results of keeping that kind of motto and mantra in my mind, for sure.
Yeah, I think we don't talk enough about how do we keep positive in our industry? How do we motivate ourselves when day in and day out, if you are behind a chair, and even as just a business owner, Maria, I'm sure you have clients that will still talk to you about their day-to-day lives. And it could take a toll on us. We are empathic beings. We are empathic women. We have an intuition. And so we feel the energy from everybody. And there are days where I know it's hard. You need that glass of wine, or you need to go for that jog or that exercise to release that energy, and yet still have your own goals and not get fallen in deep into somebody else's problems and want to help all the time, because that's what we're known for. Maria, tell us a little bit about Framar and maybe your experiences with helping people in our industry.
Oh, geez. Well, I think everybody pretty much knows about us. We've been in business for 35 years. It started up as a foil company, and slowly, brought in other products. We didn't really, I want to say we gave a new birth when the boys came on board, Giovanni, then Francesco and Roberto. They brought new vision, new life, just new ideas that got us where we are today. We're just excited about where we are and how much we've grown. Sometimes I look and I say, well, how did we get here? 35 years? It's a blink of an eye, and I can't believe it. Thought that way back when it was just going to be Canada, and here we are, a global company. The boys wanted to be a part of it, which made me excited, and wanted to make things cool. Color accessories were not cool way back when, and they made it cool. And I have to say they, because for many years it was me, and it was great. It did everything. We raised a family, we made a living. It wasn't meant to be right from the very beginning like a big huge company. That was not the goal. But here we are today. So to me, just being a woman in business is not something as common as a man owning a company. It's a time for a woman to be a woman entrepreneur. I would say. At the end of the day, it just matters that you're doing what you enjoy and what makes you happy. And this is right now. I'm still enjoying it, and it's a passion, and I'm working with my kids.
Yeah,
so
that's beautiful. And on that note, Maria, we got a question already coming in from Tammy from Kelowna. Wants to know, how has Maria found it working with her sons, balancing that boss-mother relationship? Ooh, honey, let me get my wine because I think it's going to be...
That's a good one, because there's 3 of them. and then husbands as well. Before the kids got involved, it was just pretty much me. So whatever I said went. It didn't. And the sad thing about that is the buck stopped at me. And if it was a problem, it was my problem. I discussed it with Frank, but it was still my problem because Frank had his own salons, and here I was, running the company. But when the kids got involved, they started at the bottom, working in the warehouse, and slowly, I didn't know if they were ever going to really get it, but slowly, as they started coming to shows with me and starting to know the distributors, I felt that they were getting it, and they understood it. And when they started to really care about, hey, Ma, we need to do that show, that's even though it's far away right there, we need to do it. We need to be there. And I just felt that the passion was starting to grow in them. And it was easy at that part. But now, the company has grown so much. They're doing their own thing. They have different departments. I don't dictate to them. They pretty much do what they want. Like I need them to make mistakes. I need them to learn from them. Yeah, do we have arguments? Of course we do. We're Italian. It's a bit noisy in here. And when we do interviews, we ask, hey, have you ever worked for an Italian family? Because you're going to be surprised at how much we scream and yell. But it's great. I'm so thankful that the 3 of them wanted to come work with us. My one son didn't, unfortunately, but he had his dream at 7 years old. So he's working with his industry, and I know, like I said, we come to work. We want to be here. We're excited to be here. We're here till late at night. Unfortunately, it's not really the best thing, but when you're growing, you're
family, right?
Yeah.
Family. Our industry is built on family, and if we're not blood related, let me tell you, there are a lot of people we've chosen in our lives that become family because it's our choice. I mean, can you imagine how different all of our families would look if we got to pick all of them?
Yeah.
Right? It's our clients are our family. And for me, I mean, that's how I was raised in the industry. And I just want to mention too, as I've raised in the industry and I've mentioned it a million times, how I'm a proud daughter of a barber, we have men behind us that paved the way. And I don't want to say behind us. I want to say beside us. I really want to make note that no matter where women stand, we work so hard to be where we are. And we are so proud to be where we are. But I want to thank the men that have paved that way, because we look at that as the opportunity to say, I can do that as well. And maybe I could even do it better. And having men in our lives, yes, I said what I said, because I worked with my father for over 20 years, and I know how hard it was for him to see me come into the industry, take over the salon, and he allowed it. And he said, you're right, you can do better. We have more technology today, and it doesn't matter because I'm a woman. It could be non-binary. It doesn't matter how you choose your identity. It is because of what we have today the cell phone, the internet, the knowledge that is in our hands. Wendy, I get to watch you on your Instagram. My God, it is like knowledge in the palm of your hand. There is no excuse for anybody to achieve success and to find that drive. And if it was a man that led you there, like it was for me, my father, or for you, Maria, your son, Andrea, for you, friend who inspired you, name Efe, then we are so lucky, and we must appreciate everyone in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
sorry, thank you for letting me go on that.
Yeah.
Love and passion, because you led me there, Maria. You mentioned your sons, and it's such a wonderful feeling to be able to work with your blood family and then bring in new ones that become your family, right? Wendy, do you have anybody like that you work with?
No, not right now. My son decided to create a life as a DJ and a music producer, and he's killing it. And it's so funny because it used to be that people would say to him, "Oh my gosh, you're Wendy Belanger's son," and now they're saying to me, "Oh my gosh, you're Kellen's mom." So he's got his own career from that standpoint. But I'll tell you, I'm a one-woman show, and that's. I sometimes say that I'm on an island, and it's been probably one of the hardest things that I've gone through, and the most rewarding because of all the lessons that I've gotten. And, you know, I believe just because you're a good cook doesn't mean you can own a restaurant. And so I know that just because I'm good at doing hair and things like that, that I can't have these businesses. And so I surround myself with people who are good at what they do and what they know. So I have a team of people that I'm bringing on with me. But yeah, no, this is it's still just me, and it's an interesting place to be from a sense of really getting to know and staying focused for once. I think that that's something I've done differently, being a little bit more mature, not old, mature. I think that I've learned to change my priorities a little bit. So yeah.
Well, I what you're saying just exudes inspiration. You're talking about building teams, and you know, as you're saying that, we got a question in from Sonia from Toronto, and she wants to know what inspires you.
Oh gosh, you know what inspires me is moments, is seeing somebody else get it, like whether it's they get something that they're doing, or they have a life lesson, or just there's so many things. I used to think it was about getting to that destination, or once I do this, then I'll have this. And if it's the one thing I've learned this year with things with my company and with my family, and is that it's not about that. It's about the things along the way, and seeing a moment or creating a moment or having a moment with somebody. That's what really inspires me. And you can just see it in somebody's eyes when they figure something out, or when one of my associate came in today and she won an award. She went and did a competition where she put in her hair before and after, and she won a class with Redken, and she was so excited. She just couldn't wait to tell me. That inspired me because I saw the passion she had and how excited she was. So I hope that answers your question. That's kind of what inspires me right now.
I definitely think so. And I'm sure not only Sonia from Toronto who asked the question, but everyone else that's watching this tonight already feels inspired by watching this. Andrea, who's joining us on the phone, I'd love to ask you who and what inspires you. Tell us about that.
So actually, just because I was listening to Maria and everyone speak of, like, you know, their family, like Efe is produced by myself and my son. So my son is my right hand person. He is just graduated from law school, and he works at one of the top law firms in Canada. And he did that by himself. He is my inspiration. He is my why. He is the reason that I do anything. He always has been. It has always been him and I. And he has made it so that I am able to do absolutely everything. Because I'm like, if this little boy can wake up and be the best at everything that he's doing with all that he has all the obstacles that he has in front of him from the day he was born. And he is now a lawyer. How can I not get up and do everything that I need to do to change this industry for the better?
Yeah.
Amen
Well,
to
mums
that.
are boys. Mums are boys.
I was just about to say, did we all just realize that? We're all moms and boys.
My heart just goes out to you, Andrea. I just love your story and how everything transpired. I'm so happy for you and your family, and it just makes me want to cry.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm proud of him. So that he is my inspiration.
What kind of law is he doing?
He's corporate. He's in the corporate law world, and he is.
I could have used him with this deal that I'm doing. I wish we did this interview about 6 months ago. Can I just say that? Oh my gosh!
And it's so funny because that's what he specializes in, creating contracts and making sure like deals go through and all of that, like all of it. So
I love it. I love that we have this moment to share these intimate details about our family. Again, it's just like I'm sitting behind the chair in the shop. And, Wendy, you're telling me about your son, this amazing producer, DJ. I'm like ready to hire him for the next gig. And maybe he can open up the next Oriac Live, And again, Maria, with your sons, the inspiration behind them right next to you in the industry, and Andrea with your son being a lawyer. I mean, there's so many common grounds here that all of us women from 4 different walks of life, 4 different levels of age, have found something in common, and it's our love, it's our passion, and cheers to the boys.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to not. I have to mention Frank in there because
yes,
I wouldn't be sitting here without Frank.
Well, I was going to say, please tell us about Framar. I'll put a little accent onto that as well. I'd love to know. Yes, I mean, I did my research, Maria. I was like, okay, Maria's we call them a paisan in Italian, which means we come from the same neighborhood. And so we do. Our parents come from the same background in Italy. And so here I am Googling Maria Gallo. Okay, wow. All the titles and owner, and I was so I was getting hot thinking, wow, this is incredible. This woman who, maybe one day I can be like that too. And then I started to see a video because I was like, how do I pronounce this name? And I came across a YouTube video, and it was a woman saying, oh, let's get down to the meaning of the name. And this very handsome young man comes into the frame and says, it's pronounced Framar. It's Frank and Maria, and that's my mom and my dad. And did Maria, have you ever seen that video on YouTube?
No, I have not.
Oh my
You're gonna
God.
have to send it to me.
You can Google it; it'll pop up. But I will send it to you.
Good.
I thought it was the sweetest thing because this girl was just gushing over him.
Was it on a show?
It was. You could see it was on a trade floor. So you guys were there, and she was just asking how do you say the name? And she just looked up at him, and he was like, "It's Frank and Maria, and that's my parents." And I started crying because I got so emotional.
Oh
imagine one day my son saying that about me, right? So it's really beautiful to see what we've all created and all these parts of our world all kind of come together. And hey, we have the platform to share it. And look how fast I was able to find a passionate moment from your son sharing Frank and Maria. So tell us about Frank. So is he in the beauty industry? Is he a hairdresser?
He had retired about 7 years ago. He was a hairdresser for 35 years, a very good one. He competed on a regular basis, did all kinds of classes, went to Europe on a regular basis. So he was cutting edge. Like I said, he was just an amazing hairstylist. And that's how Framar started, because he went to Europe, he went to Italy, I think England. He went to England, and he learned how to do foil highlights, came back, and that's how everything started. He thought that this was a good opportunity. And I started making some foils, cutting up foils. But I guess your question was not about that. Your question is about Frank. So Frank, he's still involved. He is a mentor to us. He's my mentor. He's the boys' mentor. He is my rock. Anytime we have board meetings, if Frank is not around, or anytime we have meetings between us and the boys, I always say, hey, I need to talk with Frank about this, because Frank has a different perspective on things. He just looks at things and he says, I think we should look at it this way. And I find that Gio is my eldest, is going in that same direction. And it makes me feel good that, whatever Frank has, taught all of us, he's grasping it. Well, they're all grasping it in a sense. But Frank he's always been my inspiration, and he's the reason why we're here. I was not born a businesswoman. He was. He actually, to be honest with you, I probably don't know if I should be sharing this, but to me, he learned how to sell and do business when he was in Italy, selling ricotta. His family lived off their farm in Italy, and he was the salesperson for the ricotta. And to me, that's how he became a business person. He learned that there. He came here, went to school, and became a hairstylist. And he knew how to sell. It's not even knew how to sell. He's honest. He has integrity. And I picked everything up from him. I worked in his salon. Back way back then. I don't know if you guys are all too young. Selling products in a salon was not big. It was just your hair salon, and that was it. But when I started working for him, the all of a sudden the retail thing came in, and that's how you made extra money. And having the products there. And he had me in there, and he was, said, hey, we could sell some products. And I remember our first product was BioLife, Goldwell BioLife, and that's where I learned how to sell. Just you have a good product, you believe in the product, and you can sell it. And to me, that's all came from Frank. It all came from him. And in a business, you have to have the idea person, and you have to have the person who's going to implement the idea. And in our relationship, he was the idea person, I was the implementer. Sometimes he had too many ideas. And I said, Frank, I got 4 kids. I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to take them to soccer. I'm trying to do hockey. I can't do everything.
Right.
But, you try and fit everything all in, and you manage it. You just do.
As you're saying that, you manage it, and you're trying to fit all these things in as being a mother, a wife, a businesswoman, a hairdresser. You have all these titles before the president, before the CEO, before the founder of a salon, before the founder of your business. All these things add up. And, we can sit here and we can celebrate our sons, our husbands, our partners, our friends. But we need to also celebrate our challenges. We need to celebrate the falls that we've had, because I'm pretty sure, I'm getting shivers saying this, I know how many times I've fallen, how many times I've asked and gotten a no, how many times I've entered a competition and failed before I won, before I got here, before I got there. And I want to know, let's be real, ladies. Andrea, I know you're there on the phone with us. I want to hear the real stuff now. I want to know, what were your challenges? What were those moments that you had to fight or you flight?
So I feel like challenges don't, especially when you're working for yourself, there's always a challenge. Every day there's a challenge, and you literally have to overcome it. Like, there's no other options. It's not like I can walk away. If I truly believe in what it is that I'm doing, I can't just decide that it's too much. Otherwise, what did I start for? Like, there's no reason for that. But just being, for example, a Black woman in this industry, there's my challenge right there. Creating a magazine, a multicultural publication where people will say, my clients aren't your clients. And it's like, really and truly, my clients are hairdressers. And it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be race-based. And regardless of how open people say that they are, they're not always. And so every day fighting that challenge for people to see beyond the color of my skin. I don't know when, if or ever that will go away, but it's something that I'm prepared to stand up for forever.
Absolutely. I think we need more of that. I think we need to stand next to our Black friends, our Black allies, our friends that we need to say, hey, this is how, these are their challenges, and recognize that. This is the hard talk, right, Andrea?
Like, it's not hard for me anymore because like I've had it for.
Of course. You're now in an industry where you're finding
now open.
That was your challenge, right?
Yeah. Like it's not so, like, for me, it's not difficult, but for people to hear it and receive that it's not equal or it's not fair, that is hard for people to receive. So I just need to be prepared for the resistance so that I can, help them understand. I think that's my job, is to help people understand the movement, how we're supposed to move, what is supposed to happen, and for really people to see the shift that's happening in the beauty industry. As I continue to teach, 70% of the students coming into the beauty industry are visible minorities, but yet we still continue to teach in one direction. And so it's about highlighting things like that so that we can address the next generation properly.
I don't understand that. And maybe you can help me to understand that. And I think that is the real question people forget to ask. When I was in beauty school, I'll never forget Miss Saki, African teacher. She was amazing. Okay. She would throw her pen at us if we didn't get maximum volume on our roller sets. But we were taught relaxers. We were taught with the Marcel iron. How come that's not being shared more? How come that's not being taught as much as I thought it should have been? Because I was taught that in beauty school. What can we do to help build that better?
Well, first of all, it's, I guess, starting with having the conversation that we're having, or that we have. It's being open to receive new information. Like, there's so many little things that need to be done. And I do understand that it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but it does start with the manufacturers, and it starts in schools. Like right now, the next generation of hairstylists, they're not going to tolerate not learning what they want to know. And that is the difference between, say, even my generation that went to school. We were complacent. We thought that's all that I was supposed to know was what they taught me in school. And that if I wanted to learn how to work on multiple textures, I needed to take a special class. That's not the case now. They're demanding education on all textures. They're wanting to know more. And so it's not okay for you to not have the basic knowledge on multiple hair types. Hair, as we know it, is changing with all the multicultural relationships. Hair texture is not the same. And if we don't start understanding that, we're going to get left behind. You're going to miss the boat.
You said it right. You're going to miss the boat. I agree with you 100%. And manufacturers, like you said, schools, I felt very proud to be in a school where I had that opportunity. I feel sad when somebody says, I need to take an extra course. I mean, I can understand, even myself, I've taken many courses after I finished school. But like you said, it needs to be in the foundation of the education so that people aren't getting lost or feel like when they walk into a salon that they're saying, oh, sorry, I don't know how to do your texture of hair. I can't imagine how that person would even feel. And it doesn't matter where they come from, right? Like you said, there's so many mixed people. Hair texture is all different now. And maybe, Andrea, that's a class that you need to start promoting for all of us, to be a part of, because I think it's something incredible what Efe Magazine has been doing for the industry. Period.
We do. We have an entire curriculum. So we have a whole program of what Efe Magazine has. But I feel like that is a whole entire conversation all on its own. I don't want to dominate this about powerful women, because yes, we are. That is a whole conversation that we can have at another time. But in terms of...
I would love for us to have a talk about that on another Oriac Live. And as you said, you didn't want it to be all about that, but that's why we have this platform, because now we can share that with so many other people. And a woman started it. That's why I'm wearing the Femme t-shirt tonight to celebrate that. Wendy, how are you? Thank you.
I'm good.
You're like, you took that all in, and I just wanted to be
well, you asked me earlier what inspires me. That is what inspires me. It's moments like that. Like, Andrea, thank you. Like that. Like I was just sitting there, and I'm like, I know. I was like, you touched my heart. So thank you for that share. It was
You're
amazing.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what Oriac Lives are about. It's inspiring one another and really getting down to a talk like we just had with Andrea. So Andrea, thank you. Thank you for the transparency. Thank you for the love. Thank you for answering the questions that maybe somebody out there might not feel so, comfortable to ask. And yet your answers were easy and comfortable and made us all understand. Right? Like, I think people forget we're all human. So ask the question. If anybody has any other questions out there in the audience, we're happy to ask them. Maria, I'd love to know some challenges behind you and your family. I know we touched on a few little things here and there, but you started this company 35 years ago, you said, correct?
Yes. Challenges are different from then that they are now. Back then, it was mainly about balancing business and life. Really, just I started when I think I had my second child. He was about a year old, and it wasn't so bad at the beginning because it wasn't crazy. But as the business grew, it did become more challenging because you're a mom, you have a couple of kids, then you have a third kid. I think I remember, I wanted to start doing shows. And, in order to be out on the road and doing shows, you have to make sure your family's taken care of. And my number one priority was my family. So, luckily, I was very fortunate that the other challenge would be is your support system. And I had a great support system. My family, I have 4 brothers and sisters. Frank has 4 brothers, and I have my mother and my mother-in-law. So I can tell you that all of the trade shows, every single time we went to a trade show, there was always family members taking care of the kids. And sometimes Frank came with me, sometimes he didn't. I want to say most time he did. Sometimes my brother ended up coming with me, or my sister, or my friend, or somebody, because Frank had to stay home with the kids. But that's a challenge. Can be a challenge for many people. Even lack of capital. That for me was okay because we worked out of our house for, I want to say, 15 years. So, we didn't have to worry about rent, and we started so slow. So capital wasn't a problem. It wasn't like we were growing, really, really fast. If you want to, expedite everything, yes, capital can be a problem for many people. But for us, because it was just a long, slow process, I controlled the growth because I had to be able to manage my family. I had to be able to do the soccer practice. Frank had his own company. He had 6 salons. He was so busy with his stuff that I couldn't depend on him. I was like I almost sometimes I felt like I was a widow because I was bringing the kids to practices and hockey and soccer and dragging everybody around and then trying to get the business in. I don't even know how I did it. But like I said, the support system is really important, and some people, don't have that. So that's a challenge. The capital can be a challenge. Just market access, the cost of advertising, in that time frame when you're a very small business, that could be, again, with a part of capital. So it's just, today is another story. Today, it's more about, I don't have to worry about little kids anymore. Now I try and, take time off here and there to help with my grandchildren. So that's a plus. But as far as the challenges today, it's more business. It's more about logistics and Trump tariffs and all the mess that that go on with everything in business, but everybody has those challenges. They're just different challenges. And, you know, it's just, you just pick up and every day you go to work and you say, okay, what fires can I put out today?
Right. And you have women's intuition, Maria. You have women's intuition. I think we have to give that to us as well. Wendy, wouldn't you say? How about you? And any challenges maybe coming up with the salon and opening up and your dream that you've worked so hard for?
Well, I'm going to say my biggest challenge is right up here. And it's the little voice, ladies. It's the little voice that's in the back of your head. You know, that one that people think, I don't have that little voice. Yeah, that's the little voice. It's the thing that sometimes when you're doing something and the little voice is like, what are you doing? Like, you have bit off way more than you can chew, or you are in a league you haven't been in. And like, you know, speaking as a woman and going like, I purchased the building my salon's in. So, you know, when I was talking about your son, Andrea, it was like I was in a commercial, you know, deal and negotiation with men. And it was really tough because I think that there was a stereotype that went along with me, that I was a woman who, you know, a woman hairdresser. And, you know, I think there's a stereotype that went against that. And so, you know, going against these challenges and making decisions and starting this process and then having it stop. I was all way in on a deal right before COVID, and it fell through at the very last minute, which is a blessing in the long run. But like, I lost $150,000 in that deal, guys. And it's like so many things. And then should I do it again? And then having people go, you know what, Wendy, you don't have to do it. We're in a pandemic. You know what I mean? It's okay to stop. And then you've got the naysayers off to the side going, see, I know she couldn't do it. And then you've got your team going, are we actually going to do it? And then I've got my child going, yes, mom, you can do it. And it's like so many moving parts. And I'd say the biggest obstacle has been really me, like, in learning to get out of my own way and believing that I can do it, and surrounding myself with like-minded people and listening, you know, to people like you three, like just even this conversation. I'm going to leave this, you know, this interaction with you guys, and I'm going to leave better for it, because you know what? I forget that I'm not the only one going through all this stuff, you know, with, you know, being a child, you know, a mother of a boy, or going through all this. I feel that, you know, this is all real life stuff, and I'm glad we can have conversations like that. I feel like sometimes people look at, you know, the things that we have or the titles that we have, and they think that, you know, it just came like that, and that we're just living these big lavish lives. And it's like, I've fallen down so many times, guys, that like, I think my failures are abundant, but my failures have really made me who I am today, and I'm grateful for them. So I think that it's me. Challenge right here.
I love that, Wendy. Thank you again for being so transparent about that. We don't talk enough about our mental health. And right there is, you're hitting it on the head. It's how we talk to ourselves. And we have to learn that we want to teach others and give others love. We need to give ourselves that love first. Yeah. And that it's not selfish at all. It is being an honorable woman. We need to love ourselves first, so that we can continue to give love to everyone else that we get to touch, and we get to share, and we get to teach, because that's what we were all put on this earth to do. There is a message from all of us. And for me, to the three of you, I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity to have spoken to you three. Andrea, thank you so much for your time tonight. Are there any last thoughts you would like to share with our audience?
Well, thank you again for having me. And I would say, like, the beauty industry is the most beautiful industry in the world. And if you have the opportunity to be a part of it, dive in. Like, whether you can swim or not, dive right in. It will be the most amazing experience ever. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I love every minute of it. Every challenge, every opportunity, every step has made me who I am today, and I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. Maria, Any last thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah, just like I said before, it's a perfect time to be a woman right now. A woman is just women in business. The growth is there. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, as long as you have the drive, the passion, and your goal is backed by a solid plan. Anyone can do well. Just have the passion, have the integrity, have the just the want, and you'll do it. That's all.
Absolutely. And Wendy, any final thoughts you'd love to share with us?
I think if there's one thing I can leave everybody with is jump off the dock. Do you know what I mean? You've got one chance at this life. You've picked an amazing career. If you've picked the beauty industry, you deserve everything in the world. And there is no reason why you can't do, have, and be everything that you want. So get out of your own way and jump now.
Well, I raise my glass to that. Forza
Yeah.
fam.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Wendy, thank you so much. Cheers. To the women behind us, to the women next to us, and to the women in front of us. I thank you all, and I thank Oriac Live. Thank you all. Ciao.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.